Hello, I am Megan Kimbler, Spanish teacher at Excelsior Academy Middle School. And today we are going to be learning about bell-to-bell teaching. So I'm one of those teachers that pushes these kids to be the best that they possibly can, and I expect that kind of my coworkers. So the goal is to always maximize the 47, 48 minutes that we have with these kiddos every single day. Our class should flow seamlessly. We should have no time wasted. But hey, just so you know, Tuesday does happen, and it usually always happens on a Tuesday as well. Champs for today, you're watching this at your desk, so the champs don't normally take place, but since this was an actual training, our voices should be off, or they should be a level 1 whisper, and everything will be guided by the teacher. If you need help, I'm a fan of the shout out, especially when there's a question, because that shows me that you are participating. So as long as your question is pertaining to the training, shout it out or make a note of it because you're at home. We should be actively listening. All our movement is teacher led, and we should be locked in. We are made for this. Our structure for today, we're going to spend a few minutes talking about bell ringers, defining bell-to-bell teaching, leaving no time behind, what is an anatomy of bell-to-bell teaching, strategic bell-to-bell teaching, challenges to bell-to-bell teaching, and the actual bell-to-bell plan. I will come back to this bell ringer because I would like to point out that I'm very much the GPS person. I see the time on my car, like I'm going to arrive in 47 minutes, and I'm like, how can I make that faster? So I'm going to try and go through this short, sweet, and to the point. And because you're doing this at home, you're actually saving time because the activities I'm trusting that you'll do on your own if you need to. So I'm flipping back to the bell ringer. Think about it for a second. When do you lose the most class time when you are teaching? In your 47-minute time frame of a class period, when do you lose the most class time? Just think about it. I lose mine on transitions. I don't even claim to play when it comes to transitions. Transitions get me in a whole different sort of frenzy because I know that's when I'm the weakest in my bell-to-bell teaching. So let's start at the beginning. Bell-to-bell teaching is defined as teaching that actively engages students from the moment class begins to the moment class ends. You have to hold their attention for 47 minutes. This isn't TikTok. We don't have 10 seconds and then we can hit pause and scroll for a little bit. This is 47 minutes of trying to have all those TikTok moments. And when I say actively engaging, I'm saying that these kids are fully involved, not once where they can put their head down and be like, I gotta take a nap, it's too much, or where they're just off in la la land. You need to capture their attention. You need to hold it. You need to keep it with it. So a question I have for you, 47 minutes is class time. How many of the 47 minutes are your students actively engaged? Meaning they walk in the door, they're built for this, they're like, I'm here to do this today. And they walk out and they're like, class went so fast, I didn't even realize it was all that time. That's how you want them to leave. You don't want them leaving going, oh, that was awful. You don't want that. So we don't want to leave time behind. Going back to the bell ringer, I lose probably 2 minutes each day in a transition. Okay, that's 2 minutes a day times 5. In a class, I have 5 transitions. That's 10 minutes. Five transitions at 2 minutes a pop is 10 minutes a class. 10 minutes a class is 40 or 50 minutes a week per class period. I teach 8 class periods. That's a lot of minutes. But if I just take it based on one class, 18 weeks of 40 minutes lost and 18 weeks of 50 minutes lost, because we have A weeks and B weeks. So sometimes I see the kids 4 times, sometimes I see the kids 5 times, but 18 weeks of each type of either losing 40 or 50 is a total loss of 720 minutes and 900 minutes, or a combination of 1,620 minutes. That's a total of 27 hours lost because I didn't do the math. I had my daughter do it. In one class or in a school year, and if I add it up cumulatively, that's 34 class periods. We only see these kids 180 days. I'm losing a sixth of them essentially, give or take a few days. So I always ask, what are some ways that I can get that time back? Because I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm the one that screwed up transitions. Now you have to take the homework home. My kids don't do homework. I want my kids to go home and be a kid. I want them to go play. I want them to go spend time with their family. I want them to read a book. I want them to decompress and come back strong the next day. So I'm not going to, it's my fault we lost it. Why punish them for something that I did? So let's not leave time behind. In this great movie by Steven Spielberg called The Goonies, there's a part where this character, his name is Mouth, is at the bottom of a wishing well. And he's looking around and he finds his wishing coins and he takes them back. Well, I'm taking my time back. That's my goal this year. I'm taking back those 34 days. How do I do this? You saw at the beginning, I had the champs displayed and ready to go. Before we can even get into champs, do your kids know your middle school rules? Do your kids know that, hey, rule 4 is keep hands, feet, and objects to myself at all times. And if I'm sitting next to my neighbor constantly tapping them and I say, hey, that's 3 times you've tapped, here's your pink sheet, go talk to Mr. Hendershot on ways that you can keep your hands to yourself. Do you have that in place? Do your kids know and trust that these are the rules, this is how they're enforced, these are the consequences, and you're going to be held to these consequences? Do your kids know and trust that? Do your kids know that, okay, now that I know my middle school rules, these are the champs. I expect your voices to be off. I have directed you that your voices are off. If you are talking when it's not appropriate, which is a middle school rule, after 3 times, again, time to go talk to Mr. Hendershot because you don't know how to follow these rules. Do you have your procedures? Do you have a process? Do you have your routine? Do you have your structure? Do you have constant repetition? Rome wasn't built in a day. Our classrooms aren't built in a day. This is why we do the champs training right straight away. And our champs lead us all the way to, we should still be doing champs 1 month into school, because if we have strong champs and a strong trust built of, hey, these are the rules, these are the consequences, then we can keep our time. We can keep the 47 minutes. You want to reinforce all of this again after any break. We have a break in our routine, like we have Labor Day. Bring it back. We have fall break. Bring it back. After those really long breaks, bring it back for a week so these kids know, hey, this is class time, and we go from bell to bell. So when it comes to what the anatomy of bell-to-bell teaching, if we were to take bell-to-bell teaching on a piece of paper and cut it open like a frog and pin open the guts, and now all of a sudden we have all the internal organs, what it is, we need to identify how to maximize all 47 minutes of the class. So let's plan the time. But you do need to plan your time remembering that every grade is different, every subject is different, every class is different, every day is different because Tuesday does happen, and every class period is different. For some reason, 7th period, go around, ask everybody. 7th period's like, there's something about 7th period. It's like, why is 7th period awful? I have the best behaved kids in my 7th period class. Class is still awful. Why? Am I tired? Are they tired? Why is 7th period different than all the rest of the classes? Why did the earth rotate just right every day that now this class period is different? What schedule works for your first period might not work for your 4th period, and what might works for your 4th period is not going to work for 7th period. And let's not get us started on 8th period. But overall, the concept can be adapted and to fit all. Plus, you might have that low rep class that maximizes their learning time frame. They walk in, they see the board, they're like, okay, bet we're going to beat that GPS time, and now you have 10 minutes extra time. So give them more reps. This is how we should break it down. You should at least have 5 breakdowns. This one has 6, the one that I recommend. I use 5 in my classroom. I start with a bell ringer, and then I have a brief review, and then I have direct instruction, then I have a we do activity together, and then we have independent work time. Those are my 5, and with my exit strategy, I guess we could tack that on as my 6th, because I reinforce everything as they are walking out the door. But this is what it should look like. These are suggested times off on the left. You'll see 5 minutes for a bell ringer, 12 minutes for an objective, 10 minutes for direct instruction, 15 minutes for a group activity. This is because kids aren't going to ask you for help, but they're going to ask their friends for help. You should at least have 5 solid minutes for independent work time, and depending on what you need them to show you that they mastered this concept or they're getting towards mastery, you can adjust the time between the group activity and the independent. And then your exit strategy should be 3 to 5 and should include your cleanup process to get them out the door. So this is the time during my presentation to everybody where we would actually break down one lesson, one 47-minute lesson. I know with this, sometimes it gives people a lot of stress. I'm going to click back really quick. I don't post this on a board. You should post this on a board. You should have it visible, especially with the time. Good teachers will tell you, okay, I spend 5 minutes on my bell ringer. There are days where I do my bell ringer and the kids, they come in and after walking through and checking everyone's work and trying to go over it, sometimes my bell ringer takes 15 and I have to adjust on the fly. Sometimes I don't make it to direct instruction because somehow something got lost in translation. That does happen in the Spanish class, by the way. But yeah, you want to be a good teacher hitting that high quality standard of maximizing the time. You can adjust this plan on the fly. So I suggest hitting pause and breaking down a lesson anatomically and how many minutes you're going to spend in each section. Once it's written down, does this mean that it's stuck forever? No, you can adjust your time. Some lessons take more. Some lessons take 3 days. Some lessons take 20 seconds. Each lesson is different. Each class is different. Each day of the week is different. But this is just a basic idea, a basic structure of how to do this. So now that you've taken the time to do this, there are three parts to implementing bell-to-bell strategies. You want to start strong. Start at the door. We're supposed to be in the hallway saying hi to these kids. When they come in, you're able to tell how the kids are feeling as you're saying hi to them. You want to have a good, strong bell ringer that either reviews yesterday's concept or helps lead into the day's objective. You want your visual prompts of your champs and middle school rules right there, bam, so everyone knows. I could go telling everyone champs and middle school rules every day for 147 days. On the 148th day, happened on a Tuesday. I forgot, and now all of a sudden the kids don't know how to behave because I didn't give them the rules and the champs. You play music, have timers, and make sure you have your entry procedure. The second stage to having good bell-to-bell, high-quality bell-to-bell teaching is you want to maintain the momentum that you set greeting these kids at the door. Again, use those timers, your visual countdowns. These will help you stay on track. Like, let them know, hey, you have 22 seconds to work on this, and we're going to reconvene in 23. And show the 23-second timer. You want to make sure that your transitions, this is where I'm going to be trying to gain my class, is they know papers go to the right. When you pass the papers to the right, you don't even make a contact with the person sitting next to you. They just go to the right. And at the same time, we're going to pass to the right, and we're going to get a pencil out, and you're going to be ready in 12 seconds. Otherwise, it's going to be, an Uno card on your table, and you're going to learn how to do this better the next day. You always want to have your materials ready. And yes, I know I'm a klutz. I drop my papers and I can't find my remote or my keys or my phone. But you want to have yourself ready, and you want to read the room. If you got kids that are sloughing off like, this is so boring or whatever, stop what you're doing and do a break. Do a brain break. Keep the momentum going. The minute you lose them, you're done. You're cooked, as they like to say. And finally, you want to finish with a purpose. You want to keep those champs up and hold them to the expectations from start to end of class. Whether you do an exit ticket, I like to recap and do a recap of DI in the last 3 minutes of classes. The kids know to wipe down the table, stand up, push in their chair, check the floor, and do the process to get out. I will ask them 3 questions minimum as they are walking out the door. We could be reviewing verb endings, how to conjugate verbs, vocabulary, grammar concepts, something. I'm DIing these kids out the door because those were the important parts. I'm hitting all of the things they need to know. So the thing is sometimes we need to prepare for the worst and hope for the best because you know what? Tuesday happens. So let's take 30 seconds. What are 1 to 2 challenges that you face in trying to maximize your time? Because you know what? Every class has that kid. every class has that kid that needs to share their opinion. Every class has that impulsive kid that no matter how you try